And so the big thing, the big picture I take away is that I started Barron Capital in 1982. And since then, there's been 1 year where the news was good. 1 year, 1989. That was the year where they took down the wall between East and West Berlin, and we thought there was going to be a peace dividend and everything's going to be fine. 1 year. And all the other years, we have pandemics and wars and inflation and panics and crashes, everything. And what happens? The stock market is 800 when we start, and it's now 33,000. So 41 times. We've done much better than that, but 41 times in the face of all this terrible, terrible news. And so I watch every day, and what it reminds me of is when I was in 8th grade, I was at Wanamassar Grammar School, where there were 3,000 people in the community, and Asbury Park had 25,000 people. And so we were graduating from Wanamassar, where we had 40 kids in our class, 2 classes of 20, going into Asbury Park High School, where there's 2,000 kids, 500 kids in a class. And the teacher tells us, the guidance counselor comes in to give us a lecture. And when the guidance counselor says, his name, and my friend Alan Levine, whose curveball I could never hit when I was playing ball, I never could hit it. Anyway, so call Alan, and he says, yeah, I remember it also. What I remember is that the lecture he gives us is that believe nothing that you hear and half of what you see. Nothing that you hear and half of what you see. I said, Alan, do you remember that? He says, yeah, he was my homeroom teacher. I remember that. And so that's the whole point. So imagine that when I'm in 8th grade, that's the thing that sticks in my head.
So don't worry about the headlines.
Yes.
So you're not worried about inflation, concerns about the potential for war, geopolitical issues with China, with Ukraine and Russia, any of those things at this point? You're just looking at what?
I believe that inflation will always persist and always has persisted, and it's a very large part of our economic model. So I think that inflation long-term is 4 or 5% a year. That's what you got to think about, 4 or 5% a year. That means that everything doubles in price every 14 or 15 years. Everything. It's tuition, it's labor, it's minimum wage, it's your car, it's your house, everything. And the example, one of the good examples